When it comes to incubating reptile eggs, everybody does things a little bit differently. So I figured, what a great opportunity to show you guys just how I incubate my reptile eggs. Let's take a look. To help me talk about reptile incubation here today is my female diamond python. This is Morelia spilota. This girl just had a shed last night, and might I say she's looking fabulous. She also had a nice meal, and yeah, these animals hatch out of eggs. Now, not all reptiles come from eggs, believe it or not. Boas, vipers, most skinks, and even some chameleons give live birth to babies. Now, for the purposes of today's video, we're going to talk about carpet python eggs because that's generally what I'm dealing with, but you can loosely apply this to most python egg incubation. So everybody does it a little bit differently. Everybody incubates with different units, different machines, whether it's DIY, mini fridge like this Sobe drink fridge here that I converted. This thing has actually been with me all over the state, and I've had it for about 10 years since I built it, and it's been running perfectly ever since. I just threw some wood dowels in the back, put 12-inch heat tape running down the entire back length of it, allowing some airflow behind the tape. I replaced the stock motor fan in the ceiling. You should always do that because it's got a big motor unit and it creates a ton of extra heat, and that top incubator will be much warmer than the bottom of it. Replace that with a computer fan that's much quieter, and all of a sudden the thing works like a charm. So I've got it dialed in. I've used it for about 10 seasons now consecutively, and it works very well. At work, we have these wonderful little, I shouldn't call them little, but these beautiful incubators that were manufactured overseas. If you recognize them, these are the same ones that Mike Wilbanks puts out and produces and sells. Just got them direct from the manufacturer. And then because sometimes I'm doing colubrids or something other than pythons, I have this little incubator right here at home to help with things that need to go at a little bit of a lower temperature. Now, when it comes to actually incubating, carpet python eggs tend to run about 50 to 60 days, give or take a few. If you incubate right around 87 degrees, it's kind of the mid-run that I aim for. Some breeders shoot for like 86.5, some go 88. Everybody kind of has their happy medium. Their incubator performs differently than mine does. Their house holds different temperatures and things. Mine does too. The other thing you want to be mindful of is put your incubator in the room that is the coolest. It's easier for it to work up temperatures than cool off down, unless it's one of the fancy new ones with a cooling feature like those, the ones we have at the shop and the Mike Wilbanks style ones. So again, I aim for about 87.5. And I'm going to show you the egg boxes that I use here. These are just basic 6-quart Holmes tubs. You can find any sort of 6-quart shoebox tub and make them work. I've just had these for years and have never felt the need to change. They work very well, and all I do is throw some of this Hatch-Rite stuff in here. So let's take a look at this Hatch-Rite. Okay, so this is not a sponsor, but I've been using Hatch-Rite by the bulk for as long as I can remember. In my early years and when I was first producing ball pythons and things like that, I was sort of testing with a bunch of different hatching and incubation medium, and I found Hatch-Rite and I gave it a shot, and I've never looked back. So Hatch-Rite is essentially your same sort of white perlite particles in there, but there are tiny little water isomer crystals in there that add the moisture to an enclosed space without you having to actually pour water in there. So I'm going to show you a bin that I've got set running and warming, and you can see the condensation on the sidewall already forming, and it's just been dry in there. I poured it in there, closed the lid, and set it. These bins don't seal 100%. As you can see, I've got tape over the 2 holes on the end that I made just to be safe, but the lids aren't a perfect seal, and this Hatch-Rite stuff works a charm. I know some folks will do the press and seal over the top of a bin to keep it extra moist. Definitely a good idea. The only concern is you get a lot of moisture on the top that's going to drip down on your eggs, and you don't want water touching your eggs. So what I recommend is taking some sort of like a pen or a dowel or something, put it under your bin, so all of a sudden your bin has a downward slant, so any condensation rolls down to the wall and instead of dripping onto your eggs. So little trick, little food for thought there. As far as when you get the eggs and you put them straight on your hatching medium, whether you're using vermiculite, perlite, hatchite, whatever, a lot of people will then either shimmy the eggs halfway in or use something like light diffuser, often referred to as egg crate, and create a little bit of a breathable shelf that the eggs can sit on. So your moist substrate underneath isn't going to excessively moisturize the eggs, allow some oxygen to flow underneath. You generally want to do some stability sort of additions in here, whether it be like little toothpicks or something to kind of get the eggs positioned in such a way where they don't roll when you're checking the box. But I've made these for those bins that I use. As you can see, I'm not using them. I have used them in the years past. The downside is they push the eggs a little bit higher up. So I find when I don't break the cluster of eggs apart, my eggs touch the top. I prefer to leave the eggs alone unless there's one buried in the middle. If it's a loose scattering of eggs and mom didn't coil them, then these are great, because then I can just, these are great. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. You can put them on these. There's a company called Easy Hatch that makes these little trays that are designed for 10-quart tubs that has little egg-shaped divots in them with slits for breathability, so it essentially fits snugly in your box. You can put whatever moist medium underneath, and your eggs sit in these little cradled egg holders in there. It's pretty cute. Probably helpful. I don't think it's necessary, but it depends on how you like to do things. If you like to do that and you're using bigger egg boxes and you've been finding that your eggs have been getting too moist, then maybe something like a grate or light diffuser or one of those Easy Hatch trays is the solution for you. Once you get your eggs, I'll be showing you this in a future video, hopefully. Now that I have this this mounted rig that I can film from POV style, makes it easier to do some hands-free stuff. When you get those eggs, you generally want to keep them right side, don't roll them, keep the embryo the way it's sitting, and if you can, just place them as is in that egg box. If you have to peel the top one off or anything, do it very gently and slowly. If I have any instances of that this season, I'll be sure to show you guys. But you definitely just want to get them in there and set them and forget them. Put them in the incubator. The nice thing about a glass front is I don't have to open the incubator every time I want to check. I can just sit and drool on them, maybe shine a flashlight in. But you want to keep that air in there tight. You want to keep the stability of the moisture and everything pretty consistent. Every time you're opening and closing that, you're losing temperature, you're losing moisture. A little life hack to kind of maintain some air stability in the incubator. A lot of folks put big jugs of water or entire cases of water bottles like I do in the bottom, and the reason for that is that water is going to hold temperature a lot more stable than air. So if you put a big heat sink in there, it's going to hold heat really nice. So say you're fighting temperatures, or you're opening the door a lot, or you don't have a great seal on your DIY incubator, that might help just a little bit. So once you've gone through all the motions, getting your eggs set up, getting your incubator dialed in, everything's running, one day you find yourself with a bunch of babies, setting them up in their baby bins, and you get to do this over and over and over every year and enjoy some little hatchling pythons or whatever it is that you like to work with. This is a little jungle carpet that hatched for me this season. This little Sheila just had a nice meal last night. She's going nowhere. She's a little holdback. Isn't she spectacular? Hatching baby pythons never gets old, let me tell you. Never, ever gets old. It is so rewarding. The fruits of your labor, the hard work all year, the amount of food and cleaning you've been putting in, getting that incubator running, setting up those egg boxes, anxiously awaiting mom to drop those eggs, and you collect them and delicately put them away and then monitor them for nearly 2 months, waiting eagerly for them to hatch. This is the good stuff, people. This is what life is all about. It's about having fun, following your dreams, accomplishing your goals. I wanted to breed snakes. I wanted to work with carpet pythons. I built that incubator. I got it for 50 bucks. I gutted it and did all this stuff for another 75 bucks. And I've been using it for a decade now, and it works. You don't have to do everything expensive, professional, high-end, fancy. You can DIY stuff and still make some beautiful, beautiful baby animals. If that's what your goal is and you want to set your sights on it, I say go for it. So I hope this video was helpful in terms of anybody looking for insight into how to build an incubator, what to incubate with, how to incubate eggs, anything like that. If there's anything I didn't cover or you have specific questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I'm always reading and responding to comments, happy to help out. If there's something I missed, I'll try and put it in another video in the future. And like I said, in the future, we should have videos of me pulling this season's eggs for more babies to come. So stay tuned. All right, and with that, thank you guys for joining me this week. Go show some love to my sponsors, Reptile Husbandry Designs. Use code RR10 to get you 10% off at checkout. Chris makes some wonderful 3D printed snake husbandry options and accessories for your animals, so go grab some of that stuff. Save yourself a little bit of money with that discount. If you're shipping, as we are finally in shipping weather in most places, please use Reptiles Express. If you use them, the more you ship with them, the better your price break gets, and you can start off with a discount. Riley 50 will get you 50% off. The standard FedEx shipping rates for up to 10 labels per customer. That's a huge amount of savings. And the more you ship with Reptiles Express, the better your savings get over time. They just reward you more and more for shipping with them. They're fantastic, excellent service. They have all the supplies you need. I can't say enough about them. Been shipping with them since 2019, I think. Haven't looked back. So wonderful people. With the money you're going to save on those shipments and the 3D printed awesomeness from Chris at Reptile Husbandry Designs, you can then go get yourself a USARK or USARK Florida membership. If you're not a member, please go change that. Go join. Membership is very big. It's huge. They're the only lobbying group of people working to keep unjust reptile legislation off the books. They support us, so the least we can do is support them. And speaking of support, if you like what I got going on here, what I'm doing with the videos and sharing content and breeding, all that good stuff, if you want access early to babies, inside scoop what's going on here, discounts on merch, become part of the Discord community, all of that good stuff and more, look me up on patreon.com. Pretty simple. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me. Very grateful for all of your viewership and support. Very humbled that you guys still watch me and listen to what I have to say. I'm very appreciative of all your comments and questions. Feel free to send more. I love it. Love you all. Peace.